Hi and welcome to yet another Facemaker video tutorial. I am Nuno and today we'll be creating a watch face for the Garmin Fénix 8, the Solar Edition. So the Solar Edition, the difference is that it has a MIP screen, and MIP screens are more limited than the AMOLED screens because they can only display 64 colors. So what can we do with 64 colors? Well, of course I won't be able to create, I don't know, something like this. Now this is impossible on a MIP screen because the screen is not capable of rendering most of these colors. The palette is very limited, so we have to think about what we can do, and Facemaker provides some ways to make your life easier. So I'm going to first switch into a Fénix 8 Solar. Now let me see here, we should have it somewhere. Yeah, this one here. Okay, immediately you see that the watch looks tiny. It looks tiny because the screen only has 280 by 280. Okay, so yeah, the screen is always represented at the real size, so this area here is really 280 by 280. But it is possible to develop watch faces with this limitation, with 64 colors. And I thought about what to build this time, and I found this old watch face I had somewhere, and I think I based it on some other watch face I found on the internet, and I thought, well, this is feasible. This is possible to make in Facemaker for an MIP screen. So the problem about MIP screens is that they have a very limited amount of colors that they can display. Basically, MIP screens have been around for a while. They are basically a type of LCD screen, and you might remember LCD screens from the 60s and 70s with the Seikos and the Casio watches. They have evolved, and the MIP screen is a natural evolution of the LCD screens. And so MIP stands for memory in pixel. So each pixel on the screen, remember its state. So it doesn't have to be updated every time there's a change in the screen. Only the parts that need to be updated are updated at every refresh of the screen. And so this makes the MIP screens very good for battery saving. They also have great visibility conditions under direct sunlight, for example. While AMOLED, you have to really crank up the brightness of the screen to see it in direct sunlight conditions. So yeah, MIP screens have some advantages, and I can understand why people buy them. So we're going to start this watch face, and for that I am going to Control-C. I'm going to copy it, and then here I am going to add a background main container, an image widget, and here, overing this image preview, I'm going to press Control-V. And there we go. The image is important. So this image is huge, so we have to make it the same size as the screen. So I'm going to enter 280 here, and there you go. Now we have the reference image imported, and we're ready to start. So to start, I am going to add an image, and we're going to create this black background. I'm going to put it on the top left corner, right there. Press Generate, and here is where the tools for MIP screen start to show. So here, this is the gradient palette, and I have implemented a new palette, which is the Garmin gradients. You can't edit it or remove or add new colors simply because these are the 64 colors that Garmin allows for their MIP screens. So you have to use these colors for the watch face to show correctly on the watch. So we have a black color, so we might as well just select it and done. And now we'll make this image 280 by 280, and there we go. Now this is the background. I'm gonna double click the layer name, and I'm gonna insert BG for background. Okay, so this is done. We can proceed. I'm gonna hide it, and then we'll start building some other elements. So for example, this element here, this is very easy to create in Facemaker. All we need is an image, and then use the vector draw tool to create this shape. So I'm gonna zoom in, and the vector draw tool works by placing control points. So I'm gonna place the first one here. There we go. And then we'll cut this corner and put another control point here. Now to create this curve, we have these additional control points. And if you move them, you're able to create a curve. So this is not an easy tool to use, especially for those not acquainted with design tools, but I try to make it as easy as possible. And the vector draw tool has a few, it's a little steep, the learning curve. So you have to learn some principles. For example, right now I am drawing from here, and if I put another control point here, there we go, it places it and it creates a curve, or rather a segment of a curve that you can edit. Okay, if you want to delete it, Control Alt, click over the control point, and it's done. So imagine you would like to continue this curve from this side. So all you need to do is press this end of the curve, and then you can continue. Okay, so I'm going to delete these. Control Alt, overing the control point, and delete, delete, and delete. And we want to continue from this one, so click it, and then Control Alt, and go past this guideline, this middle guideline here. So I have just enabled the guidelines by pressing Control G on the keyboard. So we're going past this this middle guideline here, and then I'm going to make this this line here 2 pixels wide, and then I have to select a color. Now, as before, we have to use the Garmin colors exclusively for the MIP screens. So we have to find a gray color here that will fit our design. And yes, I believe this is the one. So this is done. We can now save and see what we have here. So this is a very simple curve. Now we need to copy or mirror this side onto the other side. And for that, I am going to add an effect, a mirror effect. There we go. Enable horizontal, and there we go. This is done now, and now we need to, according to the reference image, we need to also mirror it on the bottom side right here. So for that, we just have to enable vertical too, and there we go. Just like that, we created these two shapes, and we can proceed. So I'm going to lock it and see what we can build next. Okay, let me see here. We can start adding some of these elements: the heart, the calories, the battery, and the steps. So let's do that. They're all elements on the background. I mean, they are not dynamic, they are static, so we can put them on the background main container. And here I'm going to add an image, go to the library, and remember you have images for almost any data type you need here on the stencils category on the library. So we're going to start with heart rate. There we go. Now here I am going to first crop the content to, optimize the image, and then by pressing Control we can resize just like that. Now I'm going to resize it and place it there. And I believe this is more or less the same size. And yes. Okay, this is done. Now let's take care of the calories. And it's the same. Just add an image, stencils, calories, and there we go. Now I'm going to crop the content as before, and I'll try to keep the same size for this image here. So it's 17 height. So we'll make it 17 too. Right there. And this one is located on 126. So we'll do the same for this one here. There we go. Now we'll just fine-tune the placement, and this is done. We can now proceed. Next one, steps. So let's add another image, library, stencils, and let's scroll down, and yes, this is the one. So I am going to crop the content, Control and scale, put it in place, something like that. And this is done also. So all that's left is the battery image up here. So let's add an image, library, stencils, and battery. There we go. Now, as before, I will crop it to content and Control, scale. Place it here. And yeah, I think this will do. So there we go. Now it's done, and now perhaps we might also add this one. This is, I think, humidity. So let's go and add an image, library, stencils, and search for this one here. There we go. Now crop the content, Control and scale, place it, and done. Okay, so we have most of the images, those icons for the data types. We need to apply another color. So right now let me see here. Yeah, these have to be yellow. So it will be this yellow, the main color of the watch face. So for that, I am going to first select it, one of those, and search for fill color. Here on the effects tab, I search for fill color, and voila. Now here, remember, you must use these colors from the Garmin colors palette, okay? So I think the most similar yellow we have here is this one. There we go, it's this one here. So you can also, just to make sure that you have easy access to the colors of this watch face, you can switch to the watch face colors palette and add it to the favorites. This way, next time, we'll be able to simply select it from here. This palette is saved with the watch face. So when you save your watch face, this palette is saved with it. And next time you load it, the palette will be here for you to use, okay? So this is done, and by the way, this is something I should have done from the start, which is to give it a name, and I'm gonna call it, I don't know, MIP YouTube. There we go, and submit, and then file, save as, and I'm gonna save it on the desktop, and save. So our work is saved, and we can proceed. So I'm going to apply this yellow color to all the others. I think that this is the right color to use. Let me just try another one. Well, they're not very different one from the other, I guess. They change. If you look at this value here, this is the X color code. It's slightly different. You know what? I'm gonna go with this one here, okay? So I'm gonna switch to the watch face colors and remove this one and add this one, the new one, okay? So this will be our emphasis color, this one here. Okay, let's proceed. Add the same effect to the battery. And instead of searching for fill color, selecting the color and applying it, Facemaker remembers the last effect you applied, and it usually is on the top of this list, the list of effects. So last fill color, there we go, and applied. Now for the steps, I think it's the same yellow, and indeed it is. So effects, last fill color, and last, oh, this one has a orange color. Okay, we need to find another gradient. So I'm gonna, or color, I mean, fill color. There we go. And this time we'll add a new one because the last one was using the yellow color. So let's switch into the Garmin colors palette. And here we'll try to choose an orange color. And I believe this one is perfect. This might be just a little bit more on the light side. So I'm gonna go with this one. Switch to the watch face colors and save. There we go. Now we know that these colors are the colors that are being used throughout the watch face. And this is very handy because that way on the next widget, when I apply a fill color effect or gradient effect, I don't have to search for the color I used. They are here, saved and ready to use, okay? So yeah, this is done. And finally the heart rate, which I believe is also orange. And where did I put it? Oh, it's here. Okay, so effects and last fill color and done. All right, this is coming along quite nicely, I would say. So let's proceed. We need to build some more elements on this watch face. And next thing, I think I will tackle these little circles here. This is very easy. Image, generate, and I'll make it round by giving it enough sides to look like a circle. So let's say 120. And now we need to make it very, very small, something like 7 perhaps. And 7 is too much, of course. Let's go with the 5. There we go. Now the size is correct. Now we need the color. And here we need to select a gray color. Perhaps this one. I can't see many gray colors here. Now, this one might work. Let me just lock it so I can take a look at it better. It might be too dark. Yeah, let's go with this one. And again, store it on the watch face, this time the gradients. Because Facemaker has 2 color pickers. The gradient, you can create gradients, but the gradients are not really compatible with MIP screens because since they can only show 64 colors, the gradient will use a technique on the watch called dithering, which will mix 2 or 3 or 4 colors to try and create a gradient. And trust me, it doesn't look good. So for MIP screens, always work with solid colors, okay? So this is done, and we can now just simply unlock it and place it. There we go. And now we need to mirror it onto the other side. So here I am going to first crop to canvas. So I made the image, this circle image, I made it the same size as the watch screen right here. So now since this is the same size as the screen, all we need to do is apply a mirror effect. There we go. Select the horizontal option and voila, it's replicated onto the other side. And yeah, I think this is a nice way to achieve it. I have applied the mirror effect, and now I can simply crop the content, and you'll notice that the image is now composed of these two circles. And since I cropped it, now it's only using the necessary space to display the image without it being full screen. With Garmin, you have to be careful about the amount of images and the size of the images. You have to crop them the best you can, so you save on the memory. Garmin is very conservative concerning memory management, so you have to, merge all the images you can. And by the way, we can start doing it. Right now we have all these images and we need to merge them. In order to merge images in Facemaker, you have this icon here, merge down, and you click it and then select add. And there we go. And we do this for all the other images except for the reference image, this one. So I'm gonna name it. And yes, as you can see here, the images are becoming one single image. And this is much easier for the watch to process because it's only one image. Okay, we won't be merging the background image just yet, but we can continue creating the watch face. Now, these circles here, it is a good, a good way of building circles is to create a placeholder behind the circle itself. The placeholder shows where the circle goes from 0 to 100%. And this is good practice because if you don't have the placeholder, you'll only see the circle as he, rises from 0 to 100% without a reference of where it will go. So we need to create these placeholders. And for that, all we need to do is add an image, press generate, and instead of a polygon, I'm going to use a circle here. There we go. And now I need to match the width of the line, and I don't know, starting at 3 more or less. Okay, so to have a circle centered on your screen, you should have the same amount of pixels on the X and the Y coordinates. This means that they are located in exactly the same spot. So now I'm gonna work with the radius here until we have, let's say if we have 3 plus 3 is 6, 280 minus 6 is 274. So this circle, this image here has to be 274. But since we have an odd number here, 5, we will never have an even number up here. So we need to round this, okay? Let's make it 6, right there. And now we have 274, and this means that this image is perfectly centered, okay? So we have a full circle, but we only need this part from here to here. Now we need to establish the start angle and the end angle. To define the start angle, since this is beyond this middle guideline here, this is negative, and from here to here clockwise it will be positive. So we have to find the negative angle to make it come all the way to here. Okay, so it should be more or less like minus 30, and we'll do the same for the positive angle. And now let's show it. And oh, we're almost yeah, I almost nailed it. Let me see here. So let's make it round, and it should be less. So minus 31 and 31. There we go. Now we have the perfect image for the placeholder. We just need to select a color. So let's come in here and let's switch to the Garmin gradients. And here I need to select something that will work as a placeholder. Unfortunately, I don't think we have a perfect color for this. Let me see here. Perhaps a brownish color. You know what? I think I will go with this one. Or perhaps that orange color we used for the icons. No, there's too much brightness there. So, you know what? I'm gonna go with this brownish color. Or maybe darker. Yeah, this is red. Okay, let's go with this brown color. I'm gonna add it to the watch face gradients just so we have easy access to it right there. And this placeholder is done. So remember, this is a placeholder image. This just shows that the circle will grow from here to here. Okay, now we need to of course mirror it, this semicircle onto the bottom part. And for that I am going to first make this image the same size as the screen. So right now it's only 274 and we need it to be 280. So let's make it the same size as the screen by selecting crop to canvas. And there we go. And then we can apply the mirror effect. Mirror, select the vertical option, and there we go. It's mirrored onto the bottom side. And we can now apply, just simply clone this widget and rotate it by 90 degrees. And voila, we have everything done. And we can now apply the rotation. It sometimes can, you know, move half a pixel up or down. And you have to compensate and then do a crop to canvas. There we go. Now I am going to merge these two. Add. And we have the placeholder image finished. Now let's see. And yes, I think this is coming along quite nicely. Now we need to create the circles that will definitely show the, you know, the data. And right now I am going to create the battery. Now the background main container is just a container for static images. For data, you need to add a widget main container, okay? And here you have all the data types you will ever need for Garmin. So we need the battery. The battery is located on system battery. There we go. And now let's add a circle, or we can also add an image set. So the circle is exactly what it says, a circle, and we could, you know, replicate this. But we need curved ends, okay, on the circle. And for that, the only option we have is image set. The image set is very versatile. You can create a lot of different widget types. So if I press generate here, we can create lines which are vertical or horizontal. We can create text from 0 to 100. and we can also create circles. And there we go. This is what we needed. We know we need a 6 pixels wide line here, okay, on the circle. And we need to place it on 3 and 3. And now we increase the radius until it's 274 here. Now I'm only replicating the settings we used up here for the placeholder. And now I needed the yellow color. So let's go into the Garmin gradients and select that yellow color. I believe it was this one, or maybe this one. Now I am not so sure. You know what? I'm gonna go with this one. Save it on the watch face gradients. Save and done. Okay. So if you remember when we created the placeholder, it started on -31 and ended on 31. There we go. Now we'll make it round and voila. Now this will grow from here to here, and this is what we needed. If I press preview now, and there we go. And I think this is absolutely perfect for what we need. Facemaker created 11 images with this progress of the battery, okay? And I usually go with 11 images because the first one is an empty one. It's 0, okay? Or almost or near to 0. And this one here is 100%. So the circle will allow you more precision. So it will show with increments of 1%. The image set is not so precise, but it will allow us to create these lines with round ends here, okay, these circles. Now this is done, we can proceed, and I think I will tackle this image combo here. Let me just stop the preview. I will create this image combo. So let's add an image combo, press generate, and oh, we have it already with the right font. We just need to tweak the color. So let's go and select a white color from the Garmin gradients palette and add it to the watch face gradients. There we go. Now this is done, and we can even pad it with zeros so it will always show 3 numbers, and I think I'll go with this. And we can also just crop the content, and each image will be cropped to only show the necessary part, or not. I can press generate and it's all the same, I guess, and it looks good, I think. So I'm gonna turn off the guidelines and see what we have here. Okay. This looks good enough. We can proceed, and now I will start adding the steps data down here, and for that it's here on the widget. Remember, data, it's located on the widget, and I'm gonna add a elf steps container, and then I will start by creating the image set for the circle here. Okay, so I'll press generate, switch to a circle. And now it's the same settings as before. So 6 pixels wide, and we'll go with 11 images, place it on 3, 3, and then increase the radius until we have 274 here. There we go. And now we need to set the start and the end angles, and this time they will all be positive. Okay, because we're beyond this middle guideline here, the center guideline. So if we go clockwise, this should be, I don't know, perhaps 150. And beyond this point, this is 180. So here it's something like 200 perhaps. I know, but we can now tweak it. So this should start earlier. Let's set it to round tip, And now let's increase the angle, and there we go. Now we need to select that color, that yellow color, and now let's preview. And there we go. Now that I look at this brown color, I'm not so sure. You know, I'm gonna try to apply an effect and change this color here. I don't like that brown color. So I'm going to apply a fill color effect. It will turn white because it's the default color. And I'm going to try and find another color for this background. So this is the color we had before. I don't like it. Yeah. Not really into it. Okay, now this is absolutely perfect. Let's use this one, save it on the watch face colors. So add, and there we go. I'm glad we did this change because yeah, it looks so much better now. Okay, so this is done. We can now proceed and perhaps add the heart rate here. So again, data on the widget main container. So let's add a health, heart rate. There we go. And now we will add a, let me see here, an image set. And this is more of the same. Let's press generate, switch to a circle, increase the width here for 6 pixels. I'll place it on 3, increase the radius until we have 274 up there. And remember, do not change these values. We are generating images, so you have to edit the circle down here until you have the images you need. Okay, so remember this. Whenever generating something, you have to stick to these values and not up here. Okay, so this is done, and I forgot. I have to set the start and end angle. So let me see here. I want them to grow from here to here. So in order to achieve that, we need to have a larger end angle than the start angle. So the end angle has to be larger than the start angle. We know this is 90 degrees, so 0, 90, 180, 270, and 360, or 0 again. So it has to start somewhere around here. Let me see. I am going with 120, and it has to stop here. So it has to be less than 90. I will go with 60. And we almost nailed it. I'm going to set it to round ends and decrease the end angle and increase the start angle. So when the start angle is larger than the end angle, the circle will move counterclockwise. Okay, if this was 59 and 1 to 1 here, the circle would grow clockwise. So keep this in mind. Now let's test. There we go. Now this will show the heart rate, and I think this will work wonderfully. Okay, so let's proceed. This is done, and we can now maybe save us some work. We have this one here, and we need to, have a circle which is almost exactly the same, but on the opposite side. So for that, we can first add a calories container. There we go. And here I will add, as before, an image set. And I'm going to place it on the same spot, so 3 by 3. And instead of generating the circle, this time I am going to copy the one from the heart rate, this one here. So let's go into the image set of the calories, And here I will use the copy from function. The problem is that they all have the same name. You can't, know what this one here is. So we need to rename it. So let's call it HR image set, and here now we have it named and we can select it. So HR image set. The problem is that this is built on the right side and we need to work on the left side. And for that, all we need to do is just select it, go into the effects and select flip horizontal. There we go. And select it. And now it's on the left side. And this is exactly what we need. I'm going to apply the effect. And there we go. Now if we press preview, just look at it. They're all working perfectly. And this is what we need, okay? So we can proceed, and I see that here on the reference image we have numeric values. So here and here. Let's start having them. So let's start with the calories, add an image combo, this one here, and let's press generate. So yeah, this has a different color, but I think I will go with this yellow color instead, because we don't have, or perhaps we do have. Let me just check here. Yeah, I'm going with the yellow for this, okay? So let's make it smaller. Try and match this here. Let's go with 16. And remember, this has the maximum size that this widget can have when you, if you go all the way up to 1000 calories, this is the space needed. So you have to account for that. You'll notice that this can come all the way to here. I'm going to center it right there. And I won't pad it with zeros. So this is done and we can proceed. Now here we have a weather container, and again the weather is on the widget main container. So environment, weather. And then we'll add a image set, the weather image set. And Facemaker can generate all the 54 icons for the weather from Garmin. All we need to do is press generate, and there we go. And this should work this size, I believe. So let's place it the best we can, and let me just see how it looks without the reference image. And yes, this will work. Okay, let's bring back the reference image by hiding this black background, and I'm gonna add a temperature widget, or rather not. Let's save it for last, because the heart rate here is the same color as the calories. So let's take advantage of that, because Facemaker always uses the last color you use to generate the images. So since this one is also yellow, we'll use the same settings as this one. So let's go into the heart rate and insert an image combo. There we go. And press generate. And yeah, I messed up the circle. Way to go. It's not locked. So remember, you should always lock all the layers. When you're done with them, lock them, because they'll get in the way. So let's go back into this heart rate image combo, unlock it, and press generate. And somehow I lost the settings. So I believe it was Russo 1. And yes, okay, maybe Arbitron. Let's compare the numbers. Yeah, this is the one. So, and the size also. Yeah, it's 16, so we can now just place it here on 170. and we'll center it. There we go. And this is done. Now the next one will be the temperature. So now we can go back into the weather and add a temperature. Press generate. And this one is white. So let's go and select that white color. And you see, it's very handy to have the watch face gradients here, because that way I won't have to look for them here on the Garmin gradients. So let's go back into the watch face gradients and select the white color we have been using and place it right there. And this time I will leave it aligned to the left, because we can have negative values. So let me just show the background here. As you can see here, if you have -10, we need space for 3 characters. Okay, so this is done, and I think we still have to add, or rather not. I am not specifying the temperature units, but you could have them. So here on the weather, we can select temperature type. That's it, and press generate. So this generates the type of temperature, and it doesn't have to be Celsius and Fahrenheit. You can simply add a C and an F, and perhaps make it smaller and put it here. I won't be using, I'm just showing you that you can do it. Okay, so I'm going to delete it. This is done, and now it's time for the humidity. This one here. Okay, so let's add an environment humidity. Here we'll add an image combo and press generate, and done. There we go. Now this can go all the way to 100%, although it's not plausible to have 100% humidity, but yeah, this has to have space for 3 characters. So keep that in mind when placing your widgets. You need enough space to show all the possible values, and when it's 100, you see it's almost above the icon, so we need to push it to the left just a little bit and perhaps center these values, and there we go. I believe this is perfect. Yeah, okay, we can now proceed on the reference image. You'll notice that we have these separators here. So I'm going to add a new image element here on the background, and I think I'll use the vector draw, and yes, draw vector, and then we'll keep Control Alt selected on the keyboard, and then click again, and there we go. You can't really see it because it's the same color as that gray color, but I'm going to increase the radius of the line. So there we go. We now have this, and we need to replicate it to divide these two here. Okay, so we can do it in several ways. I could clone it and copy it onto the right. Instead, I'm going to use another image effect, which is the array translation. There we go. And we need 3, so 1, 2, and 3. So insert 3 here and increase the offset on the x-axis. And there we go. I'm going to enable the guidelines just so we see where the middle of the watch face is. And yes, this is centered. This will work. I can apply it, and we're done. Now I'm going to hide the guidelines again, and I think we're almost done, because the time widgets are very fast and easy to add. So, oh, I forgot about the steps here. So I'm going to add them. Let's go into the steps container. Remember, you can add more steps containers, but since we have this one, it's no need to add a new one. Okay, so let's go into this one, add an image combo, and there we go, and press generate. And I believe this is the right size. Let me just compare it to the one on the top. And no, it's not the right size. So perhaps 18, 19, and yes, this is it. And this one, I'm going to pad it with zeros, just like this one here for the battery. You know, just so we have something different. There we go. And we can now turn off the guidelines. You can also just press Ctrl G. And there we go. So yeah, now I think we can add the time widgets. Let me just check the reference. Oh, we still have the distance here. And all these letterings here. So these BPM, calories, and distance. So I'm gonna add them very quick. So text artistic and insert kcal. Okay, so I'm gonna make it the right size. I think this will be enough. And now let's make it this gray color. There we go. Now we need another one for BPM here. So I'm just going to clone it and grab it, put it on the other side. It's 190, I think. And here I'll change it to BPM. There we go. And now let's tackle the distance here. So I'm going to clone this one too. Change to dist. And this one needs to be larger. Something like that. Place it. And we're done. And now let's create this image set. And this could be hard, but it isn't. With the tools that Facemaker provides, you can easily create this. Let me show you. So here I am going to first create an image, and then I will press generate. And we're going to select that yellow color, this one here. Okay, now let's make it small, something like 12. Still too much, but we'll address that in just a minute. Let's place it here. And now I want to match the height of this widget. So let's push it up. And now let's make it smaller. There we go. And thinner. And there we go. Now we have the basic shape. And we need to incline it. So this has a slope. Okay. And right now this is straight. For that, we have a specific effect called skew, I think. Yeah, it's a skew, and we can now use the arrow keys to increase the slope. Right there. Let me see here, and yes, this will work. Let's apply it. And finally, we need to create an image set from this image. And for that, we have this tool here, image to image set. And you can't really see it. It's that yellow thing there. And I'm going to make it 10, I believe. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So let's make it 10 here. 10. And increase the offset X value. Now you see what is happening there, okay? And yes, I believe this will work. You can see the images that Facemaker is creating. This is just a preview, by the way. We have to save it. So I'm gonna press save, and I'm gonna save it. You can see I had done some tests before. Now I'm gonna add a new folder, call it battery, and save all the images inside this folder. Images saved. We can now close the tool, and we can even delete this image we created. Now let's go and add a distance container, and as before, since distance is data, I'm going to add a elf distance. Distance is on the ELF main container because it's related to steps. And since steps is an ELF aspect of smartwatches, I kept the distance inside the ELF, container. Okay, so now we have the distance. I'm going to add an image set. And here, instead of generating, I am going to upload. We can also just open the folder where we saved it. I guess it was on the desktop. And there we go. We have the images here. We can just shift select all the images and pick them and then drop them here. And there we go. It's imported. You can't see anything because right now the widget is showing the first image, which is an empty image. Now, if you want to manually preview it, all you have to do with the widget selected here, press Shift and scroll the mouse wheel. And there we go. Now we have a progress widget that will show the current progress of the distance. So I'll place it here. You can see that it's not exactly the same thing, but it doesn't matter. This will work perfectly, I think, as you can see here. So now, as before, you'll notice that the circle has a placeholder. Image sets should also have a placeholder. So we need an image on the background that will show the whole extent of the image set with a darker color, just like we have here, So here I'm going to add an image, and I'm going to show you another feature that many people don't know it's possible. So these are the images we created for the image set. We need this one, the full one. So for that, we are going and we into this input field, and we select the last image and press Ctrl C. And remember, the mouse has to be overing it. So Ctrl C. Now we switch to this image here on the background. Overing this image input field, we press Ctrl V. And there we go. The image is imported, or rather copied from the last image from this image set. And now we can simply place it in the same spot as the image set. This might be, you have to fine-tune it with the spinner buttons here. So now we have this image on the background, and I'm going to hide the image set for now. There we go. And this is the background image. Now we need to edit this color here. So for that, I'm going to add a fill color effect and select that darker color, this one here. And this is done. If we now show the image set for the distance and we press preview, and there we go. It's working. Okay, so on the reference, we also have distance in numeric value. So I'm going to add it too. And this is an image combo. We had it, we press generate, and we place it there. And I believe this is, no, it's gray. Okay, we can go with a gray color, and let's center it. Something like that, or rather not. I'm going to align it to the right, and you'll see why in just a few minutes. Now, there you go. And we now need the distance units. So here on the distance container, I am going to select distance units and then press generate. And let me just, push it down here. And now we have an image set that shows miles or kilometers, and you can't really see it, but we can change the background here. There we go. So kilometers and miles, and this will change according to the settings on your watch. So if you have statute units, this will change to miles, and if you have metric units, it will change to kilometers. So let's try and align it to the left. Now let's bring back the background and lock all the layers and press preview. And there we go. And you know what? We're almost done. I'm gonna add the hours. So let's take a look here. Let's check the reference image. And it's these two widgets. We can also create separate digits for the hours and the minutes. I think the best way is to use an image combo. So as before, we go into the main widget container, time, digital dial. And here we have separate digits, but we also have the hours image combo. And this is what we want to use. So press generate. And this one uses a different font. I think it's the Russo one. And let's increase the size and select a white color. There we go. And remember to always do this one here. If you leave it as is, let me show you. This one will be darker. So some widgets require the last image to be a different color. By choice, of course. For example, the weekday. You may want Sunday to have a different color. And this is why we have this feature here. 2 colors to generate image combos and image sets. So here I'm going to switch this to white. And there we go. And make it larger. And this is done. Just need to align it to the center. And perfect match. Okay, so align it to the center here too, because this is the alignment of each individual image. So if I align it to the left, you see that the 1 is now on the left. If I align it to the right, you see that the 1 is now aligned to the right. So in this case, we need it to be aligned to the center. And this is the alignment for each individual image. Okay, so and this one here is the alignment for the whole widget. So let's say we don't want the 0 padding here. I'm going to turn it off and push this up. Right now it's 10, but if I, select or have another hour and align it to the left. So if we had 1, right now we would have a 1 here aligned to the left. If we had 1 aligned to the right, it would be here. So when you have one of these widgets with 0 padding, it doesn't matter what alignment you select here. So yeah, just to show you that you might find this weird or difficult to understand. So hours, let's add a minutes image combo and press generate. There we go. Align it to the center. And this should be on the same 105, 105. Okay, this is done. And this one, I'm going to do it a little bit different. So this on this watch face, these 2 dots were static. I want them to blink, just like those old LCDs watches. So I'm going to add a second digit. And this is because this widget changes every second. So I'm going to press generate. And right now we have numbers. I'm going to click blinking dots, this option here. And now you see Facemaker created all these images that will emulate those blinking dots, separators from the old LCD watches. So now I'm gonna make it small or smaller. Zoom in, and there we go. I think this will work. So now we need a placeholder on the background, and all we need now is to copy this image here by pressing Ctrl C. On the background container we had an image, and press Ctrl V. And now we need to make it darker, and for that I'm going to apply a fill color and select one of those gray colors, perhaps this one, or maybe even this one. Yeah, I'm going with this one. place it in the same spot. So there and there. And now if I press preview, lo and behold, no, not this, preview. Just look at the two dots here in the middle. Okay, this is the seconds. Okay, we're almost done. All we need now is the date. So let's add a new container, system date. And then we will start by adding the weekday. So, no, it's not a rotary, sorry. We need the weekday image set, this one here. So let's press generate. This is using the yellow color, so let's use it too. There we go. And make it smaller. Right there. Place it. And done. And now let's add the month. So we can add numbers, and this is what we'll use, the month, so generate. And I think I used another font for this one. And indeed I have. So it's not Russo one, it's Arbitron. There we go. And let's try and match the size. So this should be 18. There we go. And now here, press generate and switch to Arbitron 2. Place it. And the month date. There we go. Press generate. And we'll pad it with zeros. And this one too. So 79, 79, 78. Okay. Push it down just a little bit. And yes, we have the date. We just need that small dot we see here. So I'm going to add a text artistic here on the background main container. Insert a dot. Place it there. And we might need to tweak just a little bit. There we go. Let's enable the background and lock all the layers, and voila, we have a full watch face for the Garmin Fénix 8 Solar Edition. So this is an MIP screen. It only allows 64 colors, and you can see that we were able to create something that is pleasing to the eye. Right now all we need is the AOD, the always on display. So I'm gonna create one real quick. So the AOD is located up here, always on display. And what the AOD is basically a main container for all these background widget, if you see here. So we have background and widget main containers. I'm gonna add a widget and then a time digital dial, and I am going to simply copy those we created here. So hours and minutes, Control C, select this container here and press Control V. Now this is way too bright for an AOD, okay? So we're going to address that in just a second. By going in here, and yeah, it's this one. So Control C and paste it up here, Control V. And I think this is the right color to use. So I'm going to the hours, effects, fill color. There we go. And select one of those, that dark gray color. And now here, we just need to apply the last one. There we go. And voila, Control S. Save the watch face, and we have a finished watch face for the Garmin Fénix 8. Now we're not done yet, because you may notice that we have a lot of layers here, and we have to merge them. So I'm going to first delete the reference image, and here we're going to merge all these images into a single image. There we go. And there we go. Now I am going to crop the canvas and then to sphere. And believe it or not, this watch face is done. I am going to preview it on the Garmin Simulator, which is this button up here. So I'm going to press it. And right now Facemaker is creating and generating all the necessary code and images to make it run on your watch. And there we go. This is how it would work on your watch. You may notice that right now we don't have calories or heart rate. You can easily simulate it by going into activity data, and if we press play, there we go. Now we have heart rate. I'll leave it working, that preview, that simulation, and now I'm gonna add steps. So here I will add 2,500 steps and apply. Oh, I think I have the activity tracking disabled. So you have to enable this and press apply now, and there we go. 2,500 steps, and the distance also went up. We also now have calories here, and the humidity. You can also set it on the weather settings. And yeah, I believe this is working quite nicely. I could also change it to the AOD, so settings, display mode, always active, and there you go. So this is a full preview of what you will have on the watch. And I advise you always to first merge all images, okay? Otherwise, you may go over this memory limit. And right now you can see that we're almost on the maximum allowed memory. So keep that in mind. You should always simulate it on the Garmin Simulator or CIQ Simulator and see if the watch face crashes or not. If it doesn't, you're good. Okay, so yeah, this was a watch face for the Garmin Fénix 8 Solar Edition with MIP screen. And as you can see, even with the limitation of 64 colors, you can easily create a watch face that will run and look good on your watch. So I hope you liked this video, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye!